Hello, mis amores, or dare I say, my dearest gentle reader, yours truly, Lady Whistledown. Down today's video. We're gonna try recipes from Bridgerton, which brings me to our sponsor that we don't have. Netflix, sponsor me. Shondaland, please. I have been a fan before. Like TGIT was my tea. That was my prime of life, probably. Anyway, excuse this terrible accent. Social obligations. You know, I wasn't even trying, really. I'm saving that for when I get cast on this show. I think this is a pretty new release, or at least I've ordered this like a couple of weeks ago and it took ages to come, so I'm guessing it hadn't been out then. You guys know I'm into like taking pop culture and finding recipes in there, and so this is great. Maybe this has been released with the new season of Bridgerton, which I think has been out for a couple of months now, no? I want to say I tried to dress for the occasion, but I didn't really try because I have nothing that comes close to this. Only recently I realized I hope I will never get... Actually, I've been invited to a wedding, so that kind of sucks now. I don't even have a suit. I fear I just might have to be cast and then I will wear the proper attire. I've only watched one episode as I'm filming this in preparation for this. At least I kind of like know the characters. So far, I'm not too invested in the show. Honestly, I don't fully... No, actually, I love the show. Please cast me. Apart from that, it wasn't super easy to find recipes in there because some ingredients were... where do you find them? And then a lot of these things either contain meat or fish. We're gonna make the very first recipe. It is by the Bridgerton family. By them. They have written it. The Bridgerton family comprises the matriarch, Lady Violet, and a lively group of 8 children, all bearing alphabetical names. Anthony, Benedict, Colin, Daphne, was Francesca. That's my sister's name. Why is she called Francesca? Does she have an Italian man's? Teddy Scones is the first, or scones. Served with eggs and smoked salmon or kippers. These flat Scottish potato cakes are perfect. Oh, Scottish? No. Honestly, I've just never heard of potato scones and this looked kind of nice. It looked like a nice flatbread. Here's what you need for it. A cup of all-purpose flour. I also added a teaspoon of baking powder, 42 grams of room temperature butter, black pepper ground, and salt as well. And then of course 1 pound of russet potatoes, which is 454 grams. I took whatever potatoes I could find because like as if I'm gonna taste the difference. I think it's about the texture though. Anyway, they're bubbling in the back. It actually says to put the potatoes into a large saucepan and cover with enough water to cover by 1 inch. Bring to a boil of a medium-high heat about 15 minutes. Stir in a generous amount of salt and cook until the potatoes are fork tender, about 20 additional minutes. Drain and set the potatoes aside to cool slightly, about 10 minutes. So I'm really new to the potato game, which means that I have no idea when they're cooked. If it just slides off the fork, then it means it's cooked, right? Then you have to peel them. I don't know why you wouldn't peel them beforehand, because that's way easier, but I don't know. I'm just following the recipe. Is this recipe just a big ass gnocchi? A flat gnocchi? I don't know. While we wait for the potatoes to cool, we can whisk together the flour and the baking powder. Surely this is gonna take me 10 minutes to do. Well, good thing I've got Italian hands apparently. I've learned on Great British Bake Off that that's supposed to be a thing. They're very heat resistant. I placed them in a medium bowl. Now it's like pretty straightforward. Straightforward. I always feel very British when I say that word. We shall add the pepper. I want a lot of seasoning in there, so I'm gonna add a lot of pepper. And that is like basically the only seasoning we're gonna add, apart from the salt, of course. Butter. Now we shall try and mash it. So my potatoes maybe could have done with like a couple more minutes. That's probably not fork tender, is it? Yeah, that shouldn't be the case, should it? I'm so impatient when it comes to my own things. Like, I can wait forever for someone else. People pleaser patient. But when it comes to things I do myself, girl. Mash well until mostly smooth. A few small lumps are fine. Well, I don't think we're quite there yet. That's pretty dry. Add the flour mixture and mix with a rubber spatula or wooden spoon until mostly combined. I love how it said rubber spatula and I'm going in with a fork. Well, we're gonna have to use our hands to bring the dough together until it is smooth and supple. Supple? Interesting word. I mean, realistically, I shouldn't even be standing in the kitchen, right? Because I'm a man. I should definitely not be kneading dough with my hands. This comes together beautifully. It's still a little lumpy. Not gonna lie. Lightly dust your work surface with flour and turn out the dough onto the counter. I feel like we can skip one step and just divide this dough into 4 equal parts. Look at my potato pieces. It did not look like that. Lightly flour the surface. We now need a 6-inch round that is about 1/4 inch thick. Oh girl, how would I know? Do not take a glass if you're scared, but I'm not scared. Of lions and tigers and bears, but I'm scared of loving you. Oh, they're that small. I don't know, for some reason I thought they were gonna be bigger. I mean, that's cute though. I like it. I think we're just gonna cut it into quarters now. Now we've got wedges that we just transport onto a baking sheet for now. I think I like this recipe. You know, cook your potatoes a little bit longer. I do feel, however, we could have thought of a better shape, no? These wedges are kind of not super attractive, are they? Warm a large cast iron skillet on medium to medium high heat. I mean, I'm just gonna use a normal pan because our cast iron also has like grilled texture. I don't think we want that. You know what? Maybe I'm gonna try it without oil first, just because I'm curious. If it doesn't work, we still have a lot left. How's it looking? Just checking. See, it's not sticking. Perfect. Hello, my last batch is still sizzling away, but I think we can start. We've got beautiful teddy scones. The second batch, the second side, got a little bit darker than I would have liked. Yeah, the first one actually might be a little light, now that I'm looking at them. Now that I'm looking at them, this bitch kind of ugly. Actually, this is perfect. It says to serve with your favorite type of egg. Boiled an egg earlier, and I kept it just for this. No, sorry. First of all, I'm gonna have to bite into it. Oh, that tastes kind of doughy. And I'm just gonna slice a piece of egg. Ta-da! Oh, that is really nice. My breakfast has to be sweet. I'm sorry. But this is lunch with a bit of avocado. Actually, really excellent. They do have a kind of sweet-ish pancake sensation that I don't even know where it comes from because obviously there's nothing sweet about it. Like potatoes are a little sweet, right? Wow. I love this. I was made to play in Bridgerton, right? No, but honestly, for the next season, I hope there has not been one so far. I think they might need a German. Then again, not to say that my English is perfect, but how good would an 1800 something German speak English though? Maybe I just fall in love with someone on the show and that it's one hurdle that we have to overcome. Who's gonna eat all of these scones now? And now I fear it might be time for some kake. Cake, guys. That's what they call it on Bridgerton. Have you not seen the show? And I was very pleased to find this recipe because it's obviously Christmas season. Maybe not if you're watching this. There are 2 Christmas cakes in here and we're gonna make one of them because the other one was weird. Heads up, this next recipe is gonna need alcohol that I'm not gonna put in there. Look, it looks super dry and not very appetizing, right? Yeah, it doesn't look very appealing. But I'm like, the Hastings Christmas cake can't be too bad, right? Now I already know that they're gonna get married. Who would have thought? Right from the second they met. I fear he must have a comeback and fall in love with a nice German guy. Yeah, so we're gonna make a recipe for or from the Duke and Duchess of Hastings. Spencer Hastings? Duke and Duchess of Hastings caused quite a stir in London society when they were courting. Even though Simon Daphne's relationship started his scheme to find her a suitable match, they felt deeply in love while playing their game. Okay, too many spoilers. This Hastings Christmas cake is based on a British classic, Dundee cake, a light rendition of the traditional dark British fruit cake that is typically baked for weddings and Christmas. So here's what you need for the Hastings Christmas cake. 120 grams of butter, butter, and then an extra 42 grams, 28 grams of almond flour, and 200 grams of normal all-purpose flour with a teaspoon of baking powder, 3/4 cup of light brown sugar plus an extra tablespoon, 1/3 of a cup of chunky orange marmalade, 3 eggs, 2/3 cup of raisins, and cranberries, or technically 1 tablespoon of cream sherry, which I'm not gonna put in, and 1 tablespoon of hot water. Oh, I forgot the most important thing. A 2/3 cup of blanched almonds. I could not find blanched almonds for the life of me, or for the death of me. So I had to take matters into my own hands, and I gave this recipe my all, my everything already. He wasn't my everything, that we were nothing, and it's taken me a lot to say. Now that you're gone, my heart is missing something or nothing. So I actually did this myself. It wasn't too hard, it was just tedious. You have to cook your almonds for a minute or 2 max, rinse them, put them into really cold water, and then you can basically just pop them out of their skin. Are you ready to bake a Christmas cake for our future husband? So that's why we're gonna place a rack on the lowest shelf of the oven and preheat the oven to 350 Fahrenheit. Generously grease an 8-inch springform pan with butter. Okay, medium bowl. We're gonna add the flours and the baking powder. Because it's the 1800, we're gonna do this by hand. Well done. In a large bowl, use an electric hand mixer. Well, fuck me then. We're gonna add the 120 grams of almost melted butter now. That's still kind of room temperature, it's just summer. The 3/4 cups of brown sugar. Guys, I forgot to mention salt, but obviously add a bit of salt. Medium-high speed until fluffy. Honestly, this hand mixer might be from 1800 and something. This should take about 3 minutes. That's fluffy enough. Now on low speed, we're gonna add the eggs individually, scraping down the side in between. And then before the last egg, we're actually gonna add a tablespoon of the flour mixture, and then add the last egg to prevent the butter from curdling, which is something I've never done, but I don't know if they've done it. There's a reason for it, I don't even know. Gently stir in half the remaining flour mixture. There can still be some streaks of flour, which is where we're at, I think. Add the orange marmalade, the sherry, and the remaining flour mixture. Then stir until smooth. Na, 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 na. Please don't roast me for not putting the sherry in there. Really don't feel like using alcohol in general. And then also, I'm gonna buy a whole bottle for 1 tablespoon. This is smooth, like a bottle, like a criminal undercover. Fold in the raisins and cranberries. That's a lot of fruit. Ooh, spoon the batter into the spring form that I have yet to prepare. An eternal flame. Ta-da, that was quick. Am I only dream? I mean, the fruits are all gonna be at the bottom, right? In the end. That's smooth. Finally, it's time for the thing that I'm proudest of. Our blanched almonds. Blanched? Is it even called that? You can choose a design, but arranging them in concentric circles, it says. Also, only lightly put them on top, because otherwise they will sink. Almonds. Don't worry, I'm okay. Oh no! I don't want to. Dramatic, but. So as a shit. Like I said, you're supposed to preheat. Like I said, you're supposed to preheat the oven to 350 Fahrenheit, which is 176 Celsius. But before you put this into the oven, you're gonna lower the temperature to 300 Fahrenheit, which is only 150 Celsius, and then place it on the lowest rack. We're gonna bake it until the top and edges are golden brown, which takes about 70 to 90 minutes, and we're gonna rotate the pan after about 40 minutes. If the top becomes too brown, we're gonna cover it with aluminum foil. We still have the sugar and butter and hot water, which we're gonna turn into a little syrup situation. Guys, Okay, it might be a little dark to some of you. To me, it looks better than in the photo. Or at the very least, it looks just as good. Hello? Look at this. It's perfect, I know.
I know, it's my dream.
Wowee, right? It looks like I took it straight out of there. Yeah, mine is a little bit darker, but it's worse on camera. Well, I hope it won't be as dry as it looks in the photo. But it shouldn't be. There's so much fruit in there, right? It looks dry, yeah. I don't know, am I gonna like this? I've never had a fruit cake like that, nor have I made it. Cheers. That's so sweet. Do I like it? With less fruit, maybe. It is not exactly giving me life, nor does it give me Christmas. It's not filling me with too much joy. It reminds me a little bit of a panettone, but then I'd rather have a panettone instead of that. It is extremely sweet, but it's kind of also what I expected because we did put quite a lot of sugar in there and also on top to make it shiny, I guess. And then we've also got the fruit and the marmalade. Let's just say, if you brought this somewhere and there was also other cake, you will probably go home with most of it. The bake is really good. Like, it's been really well baked. So kudos to me and kudos to the recipe, I guess. Like, really good recipe if you're into that. Hello, time for recipe number 3. And obviously I was so happy to find that we don't have to make anything British. I'm joking. I mean, we're not gonna make something British. If you're not new to this channel, you would know that I really like Indian flavors, the Indian cuisine. So I was happy that we've got a full-on section almost because of the Viscount and Viscountess of Bridgerton. Yay, yay, yay. Well, I had no idea about them. Well, maybe I could have watched more of the show. By the time this goes online, I will have probably watched maybe the second episode. I'm reading a really good book right now. I'm busy. This is the first chapter of a happy story. Kate Sharma. Ensconced in her new role as Viscountess of Bridgerton, Kate introduces a dairy new tea blend as well as some of her favorite recipes, all made possible with spices from a native India. Honestly, that was my favorite section of this cookbook. We're gonna make something that I've never heard of. And actually, it's not even by the Viscountess, I think. It's by Lady Edwina. Is that her sister? Ooh, I'm gonna butcher the pronunciation probably, but we're gonna make semia payasam. It is a dessert from southern India that resembles rice pudding but is made with vermicelli. The coconut milk brings sweetness and depth of flavor. This is a delicate dessert that evokes the gentle character of Edwina. True to her character, the otherwise plain pudding is transformed by the addition of fragrant green cardamom pods. No, which brings me to the issue with this recipe because obviously I didn't want to go shopping with this, so I made a list on my phone. I only wrote down cardamom pods. Honestly, that was the first time I've ever bought cardamom pods. So I went to the store and I realized they had green and black cardamom pods, which I didn't know like that there were different ones. Obviously, I went with the black ones. Is there a big difference? I'm just gonna use this. So here's what you need. I promise the rest I've got. 2 tablespoons of ghee, I think it's pronounced. A 1/4 cup of cashews. A 1/4 cup of pistachios. A 1/3 of a cup of golden raisins. Actually, do they taste different? They taste old. Oh, they do taste different. 1 cup of broken semilla or vermicelli, 530 milliliters of whole milk, 400 milliliters of coconut milk, 6 green cardamom pods, lightly cracked. We're actually gonna do everything over there, so come with me. It calls for a large saucepan in which we're gonna start by melting the ghee. Ghee sounds so German, it feels wrong saying that. To our melted ghee, we're gonna add the cashews and the pistachios. and cook until lightly browned, stirring frequently for about 5 minutes. They're about to burn, so I'm getting them out. Take a slotted spoon, it says, and put them on a paper towel lined plate to drain. Now add the raisins to the ghee and cook until they puff up slightly, stirring frequently, which should take about a minute. They've puffed up, so we can place them in a bowl, but this is a mug because I like mugs. To the remaining ghee in the saucepan, add the broken semilla and cook over medium heat, stirring frequently until toasted and lightly golden, about 5 minutes. I just love cooking something that I've never cooked before that also has such a different process to anything that I've ever made before. This is so cool. I love that. I think we're also almost there color-wise. Now we're just gonna add the 2 types of milk, the coconut, and also our beautiful cardamom pods. We stir it to combine, and then we bring the mixture to a simmer, stirring and scraping the bottom of the saucepan occasionally for about 20 minutes. It's been about 20 minutes. I think the vermicelli look kind of tender. So we're finally gonna add the 3rd cup of sugar and cook for an additional 5 minutes. We're done, almost, basically. This is what our mix looks like now. We're now gonna get rid of our cardamom pods. Now we're gonna reserve a tablespoon of both the peanuts. We don't have peanuts. Reserve a tablespoon of the raisins and 2 tablespoons of the nuts. But the remaining we're gonna stir into our semilla payasam. Now it's done. Woohoo! If it gets too thick, you can add a little bit of milk to make it thinner again. Scoop the semilla payasam into bowls and garnish with raisins and nuts. Then it looks fun and colorful and cute. This looks like nothing I've ever made before, so that I love. Well, cheers. I'm a little afraid to try this because I really want to like it, and what if I don't? Then we just blame it on the wrong kind of cardamom pods. Cool. So the texture is fun. I feel like the cardamom does do weird things. I'm not super sure if I like it. I think the base of it is nice. I just feel like the flavors could be a little different and then better. Like, why not make it with cinnamon? You see, I thought I was gonna be blown away. Maybe that's why I'm not obsessed right now, because my expectations were just too high. But in the end, I learned something new, I tried something new, and that's what I'm here for, and that's what I love the most doing, so it's a win in my book. And that brings us to the end of this video. Guys, I feel really good about this video in that all of our recipes have been successful. They tasted good at varying degrees. But I must say that all of it really worked out well. So this is like not an ad. Honestly, either you guys want me to try more of the recipes or I'm willing to give this away because I'm not a die-hard Bridgerton fan. So far, what I can say is that these recipes are really well thought out and written out, and just this whole book is really, really well made up. Let me know if I really have to get into Bridgerton now, or if I should just write Netflix an email. Hi, hire me. I have no prior acting experience except in my school plays like 15 years ago, but I'm sure it'll be great. What'll be great is if see you guys next week. Oh, it's a Merry Christmas, right? We were baking a Christmas cake. Of course, it's Merry Christmas. Happy Christmas if you do celebrate, and also sending extra love to those struggling during the holiday season. And Happy New Year, I think I'll say in my next video, because I'll see you guys next week. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Entonces nos vemos la próxima vez. Bye.